Yeah, hi everybody. Well, as you can see today we're in the garden, and by far the most popular questions asked were all about the garden, different aspects of it and what have you. So we're going to run through the whole of the garden with you and try and answer every question that came through. This is about the fourth attempt we've had at making this video. We've had so many problems with the cameras packing up. We've been in touch with GoPro and what have you, so hopefully this one will turn out fine. So yeah, a lot of people asked about the garden. What exactly are we going to do? What are our plans and what have you? So we're going to start over by the gate and work our way round the garden. When I bought this house, which is 2.5 years ago now, there were 2 pillars, or let's say 1.5 pillars for the gate entrance, and a gate fixed to it. By the time I signed the paperwork and got here, the gates had come off and one of the pillars was down and the other pillar is badly damaged. We want to restore the gates if possible. I think they look quite nice, they look very French, excuse me, and I just think they would make a nice entrance to the house. The problem we have, well, the few problems that we have with them, is that the gate obviously is very close to the pavement, and we're next door to a junior school, infant school. So we have to be careful when we're doing this, and we obviously don't want to do anything when it could be dangerous. 3 of us tried to lift some of the stones up to repair the pillar that's come down, and they're impossible to lift. So my plan is that I've bought a scaffold tower. I'm going to attach an electric harness and lift the stones up one by one. Luckily the scaffold tower is on wheels, so I can move it out, move it back over the pillar, and then set the stones like that. The top stones are probably about 10 foot high, which I think the scaffold tower is high enough to do that. If anybody's got any other ideas, please put them in the comments below, because I've spoke to 1 or 2 builders and I can't think of another way of doing this. We did try a ramp method, we just could not lift them, they just weigh a ton. We believe all the stones are hidden either under the soil to the side of the pillar or just around the garden. So hopefully we will have enough. If not, we've got 2 options. We either lower the other side or we get a stonemason to make us some more stones. So I think in total there is 4, 6, 8, 10 more stones to lift. So that will be a project probably for next year, and I don't think you'll be taking part in that one.
No, definitely not.
No, it's a daunting task, to say the least. So yeah, we want to restore the gates. I have actually had a few people come around and offer me money for the gates. They're made of wrought iron, they're about 8 foot tall, but I want to keep them if possible. They'll be cleaned up and treated and then put back in place if possible. If not, we'll probably just have the pillars and not put any gates on. So that's the problem, well, that's the job we've got there and the few problems we have with it. Okay, so moving on from the gate area, you come to the well and the trough. The well is in working order. It has water in it. We've dropped stones down there and done the maths, and we guess it's about 20 foot deep. We have to cap it off somehow for legal reasons and safety reasons and what have you. Every village has a number of wells around the village going back in time before we all had running water. So to have one in your garden was quite a luxury. But we're going to restore that as well. We're going to do all the stonework. We're going to level it, because when we dug the ground out for the septic tank, we put some of the soil over there, so it's banked up on there. It will all be levelled off, and the stone done in the Pierre apparent, and so to make it look nice, a new roof on it and cleaned up, so it looks, presentable. We're also going to try and put a pump down it to use the water for the garden, or parts of the garden and what have you, but we'll come on to that later. So the trough at the moment changes every day, so I'll leave that one with you, Suze.
Well, it doesn't change that much. Obviously, it's not going anywhere.
No.
Excuse me. Original thoughts when looking at the trough was to make a planter out of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Standard
thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody does. But my only concern there is, obviously, we won't be here all the time, so the plants would possibly die. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, a lot of the plants around here are
pretty hardy, aren't they?
pretty hardy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a little bit needs to be thought about. But obviously, something will be done with it to make it a feature. I did think about maybe the solar-powered water feature in it, or
Are they available? Can you get
solar-powered ones?
Yeah. I know nothing about gardening. It's just not my domain. Sue deals with all that, so you can get them. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get some good, some nice solar-powered ones.
Right. Okay.
And obviously that wouldn't be a problem here.
No, certainly not. No, and it's in a good spot as well. It gets the sun all day, doesn't it?
Yeah, not something I'd particularly choose at home.
No. Do you mean something like leaping dolphins coming out of the tank? Yeah. Wood nymphs or what have you? Nudes.
Crazy Englishman trying to do up a house in France. That's what it is.
Just put a picture of me in the background. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure yet. Need to have a little think. Obviously, like I say, flowers in it is the standard thing, isn't it? But it's just whether or not they would survive. But hey, maybe they would survive if we choose carefully.
And plus, as well, we might be able to put some sort of irrigation system in if we get the well working.
Yeah.
You know, on a solar powered and have a pipe going through. I just thought of that one. So we might be able to do that.
That's good point.
Okay, but that's the intention with that area down there. I'll be honest with you, I don't think we would be allowed to get rid of the well. It's featured on 1 or 2 photographs that I've seen of the village. People have come in and taken photographs of it to keep the history of the village and what have you. And just saying about the history of the village, because it's reminded me, somebody put on the comments about the garden that why don't we get a metal detector? Believe it or not, you're not allowed to use one in France. You can use one on the beach. You can't use them on agricultural land or anywhere that doesn't belong to you. And to a point, you can use them in your own garden, but you have to declare anything, obviously, that you find. But like in England, people are walking around all fields, obviously getting permission and doing metal detecting and finding historical artefacts. It's common. Here, you're just not allowed to do it. So that answers that question, though I would love to be able to do it. So moving on from the well and down that end of the garden is uneven now. When I came here, it wasn't perfect. You wouldn't be playing lawn tennis on it, but it was pretty flat. Obviously, when we put the septic tank in, we took out, I think it was about 20 tonnes of earth in total, put it over the other side of the garden. And as you will have seen if you've seen the videos from last year, Philip came along with his digger and levelled it all off and put a large amount of the earth at the back of me here, where we've got this mound of earth. So our intention is that one, we want to get the ground as level as possible, just round this side of the garden, not over near the church. I'll come on to that again later. But round the septic tank, over to the wall, down to where the gate is, and a little bit behind me as well. We want to get it level, and then we're going to put liner down, and we're going to put some nice stone all over the garden. The main reason for that, because it's not cheap to do, but the main reason is, as again as Sue said earlier, it's easy to look after. If we do it right, yes, we still want to get the odd weed come through and whatever, but that's easy enough. But we're not here to maintain the garden all the time. And I've been here a few times and it's taken me 2 days to cut the grass down with a strimmer and whatever. So we don't really want that, and it will look nicer, I think, with the stone all over the garden.
Yeah, and I don't think the weather becomes trying to have a lawn as such, because it just gets scorched, dried out. So it doesn't really serve the purpose of a lawn.
No, a lot of maintenance. And yeah. I mean, most people we know, and a lot of people have just got stone down, haven't they, and what have you. And you can make it look very nice. We're going to use all the large stones that we have to put borders up, because we want a driveway near the gate, obviously, where cars can come in and then park and you can shut the gate. So we're going to put some stones around there to mark that off. and also a nice pathway up to the house, to the jeep door anyway. And then one from the side gate, which we've never opened. The path is lost, it's under all the earth and whatever, so we'd have to clear all that out. But all of that area we would like to stone. But the first thing we've got to do is to try and level it off. And where we start from, to be honest, right now, I don't know. You could hire a digger. And you can pay someone to come and do it. I think when Philip came, and the average price is about €600 a day to get it done, but they get it done pretty quick, and it saves on my back. So it's something we need to look at. But yeah, the grass will go on the lower part of the garden, and it will be replaced with some nice stone. Also down there, we've obviously got the septic tank. So you tell us what we're going to do with that, Suze.
Okay, we've had lots of thoughts on how to disguise the septic tank. Access is needed, not be it all the time, but you need to be able to have easy access for if there was any maintenance that needed to be done, if there was a problem with it, and then also obviously for when it needs to be emptied, which again at the moment is not going to be anytime soon, no. But it still needs to be easy access. So at first we sort of came up with the idea, didn't you, that you deck over it with hatches. So over each piece of the tank where there's a lid, there'd be a hatch so that you'd be able to easily lift it open. Yeah. Which is a good idea, except for where the tank is in the garden, that you just have this piece of decking just stuck there. It wouldn't flow from anything, it wouldn't be a feature, it would just be some decking stuck.
It looked like somewhere to moor your boat, wouldn't it? That's what we thought. It looked like a pontoon, you know, stuck in the middle of your garden. It's not to the side and it's not in the centre, but it's more over to this way. But there's a lot of land between the tank and the wall, the boundary wall, which is where the donkey used to be. And that would be far too much for a decking area.
I think you'd just look at it and wonder, what's that decking for? Yeah. Because it wouldn't be looking and inviting to be in a seating area, because it's just not in the right position. It just wouldn't flow.
It'd just be stuck there, wouldn't it? And you have to get planning permission as well if you put a decking in and it's over a certain height, and I think that height is somewhere around 1 metre. So once we put rails around it, you know, we're going to be getting close to that. So what we've come up with now is
we've been scouring the internet for ideas and looking, and we've got 3 hatches, so we're going to have 3 trugs. You've made some at home already, haven't you? So we've got an idea of the style that we'd have. So 3 nice trugs over each hatch. Well, 1 over each hatch. We've got 3. And then
it's a planting thing again, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure yet. I mean, I've not really studied enough hardy plants.
Yeah.
But there will be.
Well, I mean, you see plenty of plants in gardens, don't you? So, you know, obviously they can do that, but
you don't see people out there watering all the time like we do at home. No. So these plants, you know, there are plenty of plants that will survive. Just need to just do some research on that.
And when we're renting it out, obviously we don't expect the people renting it to water plants, but we have got a friend who's going to come and clean and do the changeovers and what have you. And she's got a beautiful garden, hasn't she, Valu? And I'm sure she wouldn't mind just giving everything a quick watering when she came down. So it is doable, isn't it? It's just doing it, really.
Everything's doable. You've just got to try and think of the best way to do it and how to get around the problems that you've got.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'm sure we will with that. That's and I think that they will look a nice little feature there.
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah. And then the area, I keep thinking, the area between the tank and the wall, we could make into a petanque. I don't know what they call it, petanque court or petanque area or whatever. Where they play balls, because it's very, very popular in France. I have a set myself, even though I don't play. And we could actually, this would lend itself lovely to that sort of thing as well. So, you know, people stay and can play and what have you. So that's something we've thought of as well, isn't it? So, yeah, the idea there is that we're going to put these flower beds, trugs, whatever you call them, down there. Once again, the main job is going to be levelling everywhere off. We probably won't get it perfect. You know, it doesn't have to be, and then we'll line it and put the stone down so it looks reasonable. So that is the plan there.
I mean, it's very uneven, isn't it? It's like you've had a herd of cattle on it. And
yeah, it is. What's happened is we had the tank put in, as I say, about 2 years ago, and then we also had to put the soak away in. And over that period of time, the ground has settled, and it's probably in places sunk 6-8 inches. So it's all settled. I don't think it's going anywhere now after this period of time. So we can just level it over and then do whatever we're going to do with it, aren't we? So yeah, it is. It's very rutted at the moment. It looks like someone's had a scramble bike on it, doesn't it, really? But yeah, we'll see. The area behind me, which is raised probably about 2 to 3 foot above the ground level, is where we dumped all the soil when Phil came and moved everything. As I say, I'm no gardener, and then a few people got onto me on the internet, on the comment section, and said, you know, that could kill the tree, which I didn't know, and as I say, I know nothing about it. So the idea is we're going to use a lot of this soil to level everywhere off. We don't mind. I think before it was about 1 foot higher in this corner, so we'll try and get as near to that if we can. We'll use the soil, what's possible, and what we can't, we will take to the tip and get rid of it there, won't we? So yeah, we'll bring it down. It hasn't damaged the tree. This year the tree had more fruit on it. This is a cherry tree. It had more fruit on it than it has in the last 2 years. You know, it's just unbelievable the amount that was on there. So it is still surviving. I think it helped the fact that Sue's cut all the ivy off about a year or so ago, which was strangling
August,
it.
a year ago.
It. And then the big idea for this raised area is, I'll go to my assistant.
Well, no, in actual fact, it's something that you sort of fancied having. Really, since perhaps the tree in the garden, and that's just a nice seating area around it.
Yeah. Around the tree, yeah.
Around the tree.
And then have like a wild garden, wild flowers. You know, I just think it looked beautiful when like a meadow type thing. And I mean, my idea is you just dig it over, throw the seeds down, and leave it. But I'm sure it's not, you know. But we just thought it would be nice to have a quiet area where you can go and sit. It's nice and shaded up there when it's hot. Probably want to do little statues as well. And it would be just a nice calm area, wouldn't it? If possible, I'd love to put a swing on this tree.
Yes, that's something else you've
I've just always had this thing about putting a swing on this tree. It may not be possible. Someone put in the comments, why not put a hammock up there? Yeah, I'd love to do that as well, if it's possible. So yeah, they're all things we will look at, but the main idea is putting the flowers up there and the seat around the tree, isn't it? So that's what we intend to do with that area. We have what we call the pigsties. They're not pigsties, they never have been, but we call them because when they look like it, they look a pigsty. They're pretty solid. The roof's had it, as you can see, but the rest of the building is pretty solid. What it's been used for in the past, no idea. What we're thinking of doing is, well, we've got two thoughts: either knock them down, which I think would be a shame, or keep them, restore them, and then use them for storage. Which to me makes the most sense. You know, you put garden furniture in there and what have you. So that's the sort of idea we've come up with, that, isn't it? Yeah. The land in front of it, which is right in front of the church, we're thinking of making into a private garden area by putting a hedge the way down, not a high hedge, but something nice. Don't really want to put a fence because I think they're a bit cold looking, you know, but probably a nice hedge down there, level with the gîte kitchen window. And that would be for anybody staying in the gîte as their private garden. They can go and sit out there. We'll have some furniture out there as well. And if they decide they want to eat from the house, they can pass stuff through the kitchen window. So that is a plan we've got at the moment for that area.
I think it'd just be nice to, although we'll be separating it off, to not cut it off, but to just make it like a little secret bit of the garden that you could wander around to, and then they could go and sit sort of further away and just be private if they want to be. Obviously they can use the whole garden, but if they want to just go and sit in their own little private bit, they can just sort of go down to that. But I don't think it wants to be shut off. I don't think it wants to be a cut off thing.
No,
it just wants to have a little wander to it.
And as we say, if they want, they can use the main garden as well. If we were here staying, we would use this part of the garden, and if they wanted to, they could as well, or they can just use that for themselves. So that's what we thought would look nice
I think
down there.
it's just nice to have a little bit of a separate
Bit
area for
of privacy,
people.
isn't it? Yeah, not everybody wants to mix with everybody, so and it would cut it off from the road as well, so people walking down really wouldn't be able to see them, and it's got that bit of privacy. So that's basically the plan that we've got round there. In front of the gîte, where the door is, the shutter door into the gîte, is a concrete slab. I've never seen any attractive concrete yet, really, and this is no exception. The idea I've come up with, well, we've got two ways we could do this. We could either break it up and get rid of it, which would be an horrendous job, and I don't want to really do that if I can help it. It's nice and solid. There's nothing underneath it.
Reasonably flat.
Yeah, there are some cables go underneath it, but they're well underground and quite safe. So yeah, it's flat as well. So the idea I've come up with is to put some paving slabs down there, or patio slabs, is the better word, isn't it?
Just some decorative slabs.
Yeah, some nice decorative slabs down there. There's a hard standing area where you can have a bistro table again and sit in that area. What we have to bear in mind is the excuse me, the shutter that I made on my last visit. We're eventually going to go and see the mayor and get permission to turn that into a door, because the main house has a front door, which is beautiful, very French, which I don't think you've ever seen, but that will be coming into the new videos once we finish the garden. But we'd like to make that into a door, in keeping with everything else, and so you could come from the kitchen in the main house onto that slabbed area and then into the garden. So we've got to get permission to do that. I don't really think there'll be a big problem. There'll be some restraints and things you have to do, you know what it's like. And yeah, I think that would look nice there, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It'd open up the kitchen as well, what we're going to have in the main house as well.
Yeah, it just made that area, more attractive. It is actually a really nice area, and as we know, while the weather's been nice, we've had chairs out there, and we've just come out and sat out there when it's not been too hot.
No.
And sat there, and then in the evening it's in the shade, so it's actually really nice there then.
Yeah.
To just sort of sit outside.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it does get the shade in the afternoon, doesn't it? A little bit round there. So we're very fortunate. I'm not quite sure which way this house is facing. It comes up over there, the sun, doesn't it? It sort of goes all the way across, so we get the sun nearly all day. But in the evening time, there's just that little bit of a corner where there's a bit of shade. So it's nice.
Slowly the shade goes and goes, and it ends up, the last bit is sort of down in the corner just above from the well.
Yeah.
Sort of down there.
Yeah.
So that's the last bit of sun.
Yeah. This wall you can see behind me is the school. Somebody asked me, is there a school behind? Because you can always hear school children. They're on holiday at the moment. And yeah, that's a school. It's an infant school, the little tots and whatever you. And yeah, the land, it's called the Little Cygnets, isn't it? Yeah. The land that the school sits on used to belong to this house, and it was sold off many years ago, and made into a little infant school. So that's what that building is behind me. So yeah, that's what we intend to do with the decking area or patio area or slabbed area, whatever you want to call it. If anybody's got any other ideas, put it in the comments below. We're open to ideas. As I say, gardening's not my thing. I just sort of do it. Can you build this? Yeah, I'll build it, but I don't do gardening. But if you've got any ideas,
you do have some good ideas. You have done some good ideas at home with our pergola that you did.
Yeah,
unusual. So yeah.
Yeah, I built a pergola at home, some shrubs and flower beds and whatever. Because
beautiful.
Yeah, we've got a very small garden back home, and so yeah, I mean, I'll build the things, but I mean, your heaven is sat out here working in the garden, isn't it?
Yes, my heaven this whole time we've been here for this break has been actually pulling the ivy up again, being outside.
Yeah.
I've just kept wandering outside. I was supposed to be doing other things like painting and different things, but I just keep putting the brush down and coming outside. Yeah,
so that's what we intend to do really with the slabbing area. We'll put some pots and stuff on there as well, won't we, and make it look nice. Another job I've decided in my wisdom to do, and does need doing, to be honest, is to render the outside wall of the gîte, which is quite a big area. And rendering is something I've not really done before. I've done plastering. I went on a course. I'm not a plasterer, but I went on a course and learned how to do it, and I did our bathroom at home and some walls and that. But I've thought I will take off the old render and replace it with new, using the same mixtures I've used on the stones inside the house. My first thought was, when I saw the house, was that would look stunning if it had the Pierre apparent, which is what I did in the bedroom, where the stone is showing and you basically point it all out. But the mayor says no, you can't do that because of our proximity next to the church. We have to keep it rendered because the church is rendered. So yeah, there's no Pierre apparent. It's done me a big favour in a way, because it probably would have taken me months, and yeah, I probably would have been using the French National Health Service quite a bit, wouldn't it, and finding out what the hospitals are like, because it would be a massive undertaking. Though I would have done it, I would have enjoyed doing it. But yeah, we're going to have to render the wall, and I will use a slightly different mix to what I've used, but it will be lime and sand. It will give a lighter colour, as hopefully something like the church. And then the rest of the house we're going to jet wash. Most of the render on there is in pretty good condition. It looks dirty because of the moss that's on it, but it is in pretty good condition, which we'll find out for sure when we start cleaning it up and what have you. So yeah, I'm going to do all round the front of the gîte. I'd like to get that done on my return if possible. I have in my head it's probably going to take me about 2 days, so probably too many beers or something, I don't know, but I would like to get it done as soon as possible, if not all of it, some of it anyway. Some parts are worse than others, some parts are where they could fall off, and I definitely don't want that to be happening. So yeah, that's another job we're going to set up. So that pretty much covers everything around here. So yeah, it's work in progress, that part is. I think that pretty much covers everything we want to do in the garden, doesn't it? You know, if you've got any ideas, then we're always open to ideas, aren't we?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's about everything to do with the garden. But I would just like to ask you a question. Anybody who's watching this or watches any of the other videos, I might mention it again on one of the other videos. A long time ago, when this channel went where it could have adverts and advertising on there, I got asked to do a Patreon account. You know, YouTube sent me all the info through, you should have a Patreon account, and you know, most YouTube channels I watch have Patreon accounts, and it's not something I like that much. You know, I don't like it on other channels, and it doesn't sit easy with me. So I opened one, and I sort of never used it, because from what I can understand, anybody who becomes a patron donates money to the channel, which is fantastic. You know, I'm never going to say no to a donation to help. We get through probably about, I don't know, £300 at least a month on new tools and screws and sandpaper and everything else, you know, that go paint. I mean, I think so far I've spent over £1,000 in paint, most of it being discontinued just after I bought it. So I would never say no to a donation. But what I'd like to know is how you feel about Patreon accounts. As I stand at the moment, I'm not going to reopen it. But if you said yes, it's a good idea, what would you want? You know, what can I offer you back for your donations? Yes, I could do the videos early to you. I don't know what else I could do. You know, merchandising or something like that. I just don't know. We have very limited time. We're busy with this. We're busy at home as well. And it wouldn't be fair to me to be taking money off people and not giving you something back. I mean, that's how it works. So I would be very interested to hear what you think about it. And if you think no, I mean, when I opened the last one, I got a lot of abuse, didn't I? People unsubscribed and gave me a lot of verbal abuse and what have you. Some of it where I had to report it, just because I was opening a Patreon account. I mean, you're not forced to use it. And everybody else I know with a big channel has a Patreon account, don't they?
Yeah.
But so I closed it. I stopped using it, but I would reopen it. This buy me a coffee. Well, it's just basically, you know, giving you money for that as well, for helping towards the channel. Great, I've got that, but I don't use that either. We do have a PayPal link, and we also have an Amazon link. And anything that goes into those, nothing as yet, we will put towards the house. We'll buy tools, equipment, paint, screws, whatever. It can be £1, $1, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, you know, you're more than generous by doing that. And we also have this button on the page, which you've probably seen, which has a dollar sign on it and a thanks or something. And you can donate anything from $1, I think, £1 on there. So to me, if people want to donate and help towards the channel, press those buttons. You know, I don't see why we need a Patreon account. You know, I've been approached as well, because my channel is growing, by companies asking me to advertise everything from security cameras to video games, you know, things I don't even play, and that doesn't sit easy with me. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, oh, you should be using this sort of bread, or you should be using this sort of soap. It's just so false. I don't like watching it. I always click through it when I watch it on someone else's video, so I'm not going to do it on mine, that's for sure. I would be more than happy to test something for somebody. If somebody came and said, we've got this new drill, will you test it for us and give us your honest opinion? That's fine, I'll do that. But I'm not going to falsely say something's wonderful when it's probably not. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about the Patreon accounts. Personally, I don't really want to do it, but I would do it if people are interested. If you want to donate, do the Amazon, do the PayPal, whatever, press that little button on the screen, and that's fine by us. You know, we just love doing the channel, and yeah, we leave it with you on that one. So that's about it. I think we've answered everything on the garden. We've gone all the way through it. If you've got any more questions, please ask in the comment section. We're off to the Ile de Ré, which is about half an hour, 35 minutes from here. It's an absolutely stunning island just off La Rochelle. There's a beautiful harbour there with loads of restaurants. We always have mussels when we go over there, and we're going to do the next answer session from over there. We've had a problem with the camera. We've got two cameras now, and one of them, if we record anything and then we download it to go onto YouTube, it's like all choppy, you know, it's not smooth running. And we've been in touch with GoPro. You may have seen that we put a couple of little test pieces on there. That was for them. They needed to see that. We can't take it off till they sorted out the problem. So yeah, there may not be a video tomorrow, Friday. It may be weekend or early next week, but there is one more renovation video to go out, isn't there?
Well, we start travelling home on Saturday.
Yeah. We don't actually get home till Sunday, but we're going up to Cherbourg, and we're going to see St Michael's Mount, aren't we, up there and what have you, and spend the night in Cherbourg and then get back home on Sunday. I will be coming back approximately 7 days later for 2 weeks. On the day that I leave, the first guests arrive, so it's going to be pretty chaotic. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks very much. As always, please give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the vid. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to share this, which is something I never ask, I'd be very interested to see what the results were if you shared this video by pressing the share button on Facebook and what have you, what the results would be. Would it increase the subscribers? I don't know. So yeah, if you wish to do that, please do, and we look forward to hearing your comments and seeing you on the next vid. So thanks very much, take care everybody, and
Bye.
speak to you soon. Bye.